Happy New Comic Day and welcome to a fresh New Comic Day blast for the week of November 18th, 2020. And jumping right into the news, we're going over to Marvel because we got some solicit info and a cover reveal for one of King in Black's tie-ins, Gwen vs. Carnage #2, on sale in February. That's right, it's the showdown. Gwen Stacy versus Mary Jane. Mary Jane wearing the Carnage costume, Carnage symbiote. And yes, I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm all in. At first, as I said, I wasn't that hyped for King in Black. I didn't really care too much about Null, but a lot of the tie-ins seemed really interesting coming out of this. Black Knight, Thunderbolts, and Gwen vs. Carnage sounds like kind of cool. Mary Jane and Carnage, it just looked cool, so I'm all into it. I want to see what's going on with the story, and it's actually long. I don't even know how long it's going to be, but I think originally I thought it was going to be a one-shot, but apparently not, because obviously this is for issue number 2 in February. So I'm like, all right, let's check this out. I'm curious. Again, let me know all your thoughts about King in Black. What do you think about it? What do you think of Null? And how many of the tie-ins are you interested in? I think honestly, as I said before, the tie-ins seem way more interesting to me than the main story, but considering how much of that has like piqued my interest, I may actually end up checking out the main story anyway, just to get the full scope of everything that's going to happen in King in Black. So looking forward to seeing all this stuff again. Carnage, Gwen vs. Carnage. Let's check it out. Showdown. Let's do it. 2021. It's going to be crazy. So that's King in Black, Gwen vs. Carnage #2, again on sale in February. And we're going to stick with Marvel because, you know me, I'm going to veer off a little bit because we're going into the toy side. So toy collector, the X-fan in me couldn't help but share this news. I just saw something, I think it was just some Marvel article link. I was like, oh, some Marvel retro stuff. Let me see what's going on. Talking about Marvel toys that are supposed to be at Target coming up for the holidays, so they could be out, depending on where you are in the country or in the world. They might have shown up already, or they're probably starting to trickle into stores, or will trickle into stores in the next few weeks. But Hasbro decided to release some more retro figures. So we've already seen this stuff with X-Men and like the old X-Men and Uncanny X-Men old school packaging, Toy Biz packaging. The Spider-Man figures have had a bunch of retro figures. And now we got a couple new ones. These has 2 Spider-Man, which is whatever. We got a new Rogue and another Gambit. Some retro style figures, some new cool box art, the same old school X-Men Toy Biz Toy Biz packaging style. Now I won't know until I get them in hand how different they are from the more recent Hasbro Marvel Legends offerings for both of those characters, because both of them have gotten new figures since Marvel has taken over the license many years ago. We saw some with Toy Biz, and then when Hasbro took over, eventually they released some. I think Gambit got his last year, Rogue a few years ago. I'm not even sure now. It feels like it's been so long. So I'm curious to see how different they are. But even if you already have both of them, as I do, I honestly would be interested in both of those as a collector's piece, because Rogue and Gambit, they just go together. You're X-fan. You just love seeing both of those 2 characters together, side by side, doing whatever the hell they want to do. So I could even picture just having both of them and just keeping them sealed. Like, hey, put them on the wall, nice collector's pieces, just sitting there in decoration for the comic room. So I just had to share that. Marvel Legends, Rogue and Gambit, retro style, 90s style, because some people may not even consider that retro, but 2 new X-Men in their Toy Biz 90s packaging, which is always just dope as hell because it's just cool. It looks cool. And that's going to wrap it up for the news this week. Now we jump into the recommendations because we got some brand new #1s. That's right. Several series debut. So all new titles for all of us to jump in from some indie publishers, 2 from Scout Comics. And so they're doing it big today. Like, you know what? Hey, going to mid-November, we dropping some bombs on you. New titles. And a surprise title that I just kind of came across from IDW. But let's jump right into Scout Comics with their first title, Children of the Grave #1. Now, this one and the other title from Scout Comics, I did pre-order because both of them sounded cool way back when I pre-ordered them, like, a month or so ago, 2 months, whatever it was. But they both sounded cool. So the title, it reads as, Earth has been reset. Now known as Terra, the populace lives in blissful ignorance of the centuries of unrest that plague mankind. Now the Terrans receive all they need from the mysterious but unquestioned providers. Life is free of hardship, pain, and suffering on Terra, but something is brewing, and young Terran Daniel is determined to find the truth. Scout Comics presents another installment in the annals of sci-fi futures that are too good to be true. Always down for some new sci-fi stuff, whether like just whatever it is, because just sci-fi can cover so much. And when you get into comics, like, all right, you know, they're gonna go into some weird territory. Who knows what's gonna happen? It's gonna be fun. So that's why I pre-ordered. It sounds cool. So definitely want to share that with you. So that's Children of the Grave, #1, Scout Comics. Now to the other title from Scout Comics that is dropping today, Recount Number One, and reads, after the assassination of a U.S. president, the conspirators turned their sights on all who helped him get into power. By this, they mean to kill everyone who helped him ascend to the presidency, including the ordinary citizens who elected him, essentially plunging the entire country into civil war. Meanwhile, the vice president, one of the few survivors of the executive branch, struggles to prevent the nation from descending into chaos. I was like, you know what? First of all, I think the cover was the first thing I saw. I was like, all right, you know, it kind of stands out. I liked it, just how it looks aesthetically. I'm like, sorry, so you have my attention. Now reading into it, like, okay, so what can this mean as far as like the groups and everybody in power, like what happened with the president and just everybody connected to him, and just what is this, like, where are they going to go? Like, are there going to be anything conspiracy wise, just action, and maybe some, who knows, like, honestly, just who knows what could happen with this. I was like, all right, you know what, it sounds cool, sounds interesting, let me check it out. So I pre-ordered that. So I got both of those titles coming, Children of the Grave and Recount from Scout Comics. So they're coming out with a couple, like, they're just throwing out some cool stuff here. So let's hope, like, more power to them. And just, again, just want to share that with y'all. So if you heard of any of those titles, let me know in the comments below what you think of them. If you picked them up by the time you watch this and you read them, share your thoughts, spoiler free, always, of course. And then we go into the last title. So IDW Publishing, here is Sea of Sorrows, #1. And again, this one was a surprise one. Just kind of came across. I was looking through all the new titles out this week, making my notes as I usually do. I was like, oh, what is this one? I think I kind of missed this one. So I was like, oh, it sounds kind of interesting, cool cover. So I was reading it, and kind of goes as deep sea adventure with a horrific twist from the creative team behind last year's hit horror series Road of Bone, which I didn't read, comes an all-new tale of bone-chilling terror. In the aftermath of the Great War, the North Atlantic is ripe for plunder by independent salvage crews. When a former naval officer hires the SS Vagabond, he leads the ship to a sunken U-boat and a fortune in gold. Tensions mount as the crew prepares to double-cross each other, but the darkness of the ocean floor holds deeper terrors than any of them have bargained for. Plunge headfirst into the icy waters of dread with another historic tale of terror from writer Rich Dueck and artist Alex Cormack. Okay, so I'm like, underwater tale, some salvaging, and like some untrustworthy companions, I guess you could say, and whatever could lie at the bottom of the ocean floor. So, all right, you know what? It sounds cool. Sea of Sorrow. I'm definitely going to be picking this up. I'm interested to read this one. If any of you have heard of this, like, what made you like want to look into it? If you like pre-ordered it, or if you plan to pick it up, or if you picked it up by the time you watch this, as the other titles, let me know your thoughts below. Spoiler free, obviously, but definitely just curious to see who else even came across this. What do you think of it? Again, this one, it just sounds cool. It kind of reminds me of Plunge, and I haven't read too many like comic series that kind of deal with like the depths of the ocean. I think of either maybe Low, or what was another one that The Wake. I think it was one. So like there's just a couple out there. It's like, oh, you know, it kind of delve into the depths of the ocean and just everything that you can do in there from a horrific standpoint, or like horror standpoint, and sci-fi as well. And you can usually mesh those to come up with some cool stuff as well, some interesting stuff. So again, this is another title I'm definitely going to be picking up this week. A surprise one, which are always fun to kind of come across. Just looking through, like, oh, you know what, this one just flew on my radar. But now I'm radar for undersea. Look at that. But so that Sea of Sorrow #1 from IDW Publishing. So that's gonna wrap it up for this week's New Comic Day Blast. Bunch of new #1s. Got the Marvel retro toys coming out. Rogue and Gambit, which will fit in everybody's collection. And just the news about, some more news about King and Black Titans. Again, just plenty of those coming alongside the main event, as any current or all-time comic events go. And then a bunch of cool #1s. So always looking to share that stuff. Again, just spreading people's awareness and just kind of getting those indie titles into people's minds, kind of spreading that. And hey, maybe you might find something that you might read into, just expand your reading horizons, check out some more indie books. So that's all that. Share all your thoughts in the comments below, everything you're looking forward to picking up this week. If you've already read this or picked up your books, what have you found? What cool stuff have you read so far? Yeah, just share all your thoughts below. So that's that. Happy reading, happy hunting, happy collecting. This is GENOTHADRAGON. Thanks for watching and peace out.